Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and let me heartily welcome our presenters and participants to the webinar entitled Future Skills on behalf of the Hungarian Euroguidance Center. I am Eszter Karvázi, Head of the International Relations Unit, as well as the Hungarian Euroguidance Center in Hungary, which operates under the National Office of Vocational Education and Training and Adult Learning. The Hungarian Euroguidance Center, for more than 13 years now, as part of the European network, serves as a national resource and information center for guidance. The network is a cooperation of centers throughout European countries which link together the career guidance systems in Europe. The main target group of Euroguidance is guidance practitioners and policymakers from both the educational and the employment sectors in the European Union, the European Economic Area member states, and also in the candidate countries. Future skills and the future of skills are hot topics, so to speak, and this topic is on every political agenda in the European Union and its member states. That is why today we invited nationally and internationally renowned professionals in different areas of interest to present you with up-to-date information and trends concerning the future of skills and competencies related to career guidance services. Let me heartily welcome our presenters. Mr. Jiří Branka, expert on skills intelligence, working in Department for Vocational Education and Training and Skills in the European Center for the Development of Vocational Training, CEDEFOP. He will talk about how skills intelligence can help career guidance services. Next, Mr. Tibor Borsborsby-Pece, Associate Professor in Hungary, will present on the deprofessionalization in occupations and the future of career guidance. Then we welcome Ms. Jana Kettunen from Finland, Professor and Vice Director at the Finnish Institute for Educational Research at the University of Jyväskylä, who will present on digital competencies for career guidance professionals. After the 3 sessions, we will have a short 10 minutes break until 2 o'clock, and we will continue with Silvia Fodor, psychologist and associate professor in Hungary, who will talk about goal setting and future planning as essential features for career orientation. The last session will go beyond the European scene as Scott Solberg, professor of counseling psychology and applied human development in Boston University from the United States of America, and his now colleague Nurten Özdemir, associate professor in the Department of Psychological Counseling and Guidance at a university in Turkey, now a visiting professor in Boston, will navigate us through megatrends in career skills and competencies. The presentations are pre-recorded, however, presenters are here with us now in the chat room, so if you have any questions during or after the presentations, please do not hesitate to contact them. I wish you a professionally fruitful and useful pastime during the next 2 hours on behalf of the Hungarian Euroguidance Center.
Hello, my name is Jiří Branka and I'm coming from CEDEFOP, the European Center for the Development of Vocational Training. CEDEFOP is one of the EU's decentralized agencies and it deals with 3 major topics. One is skills and labor market, when we try to understand what drives changing skill needs and how do skills policies contribute to meeting them. In so-called Web Knowledge Center, we deal with questions like how do we empower individuals or how we can make lifelong learning a reality. And finally, in the area of delivering WET and qualifications, we deal with questions like how do systems, meaning WET systems, respond to new needs and how do these systems prepare for the future. One of the key topics in the skills and labor market area is to develop and provide skills intelligence. Skills intelligence for us is a process in which we try to identify, collect, analyze, synthesize and present information on skills and labor market to meet various needs, to identify key trends and demands in the labor market, to assess and forecast future skill needs, to address skills gaps and mismatches, to adapt provision of education and training, and finally to provide support for educational and career guidance and counseling. The skills intelligence has to deal with 5 distinct challenges. It's the level of detail, representativeness, timeliness, the skills information, and affordability. The detail basically means that practical implications of skills intelligence are often limited by the levels of aggregation that is available in the data that we have to work with. The representativeness means that skills intelligence has to work with reliable methodology, provide sufficiently robust data, and deal with skill gaps and comparability. Timeliness is another important challenge. Most of the data that come from the labor market, especially from traditional surveys, can take 2 to 3 years before we can transform them to skills intelligence, and that is not so useful for many groups, user groups that require information that is much more recent. Skills intelligence also usually has a problem with skills, and this is because surveying and measuring skills is extremely difficult. And final challenge is the challenge of affordability, meaning that they have to have resources to conduct the skills intelligence exercises in sufficient scale, but also in sufficient frequency. The ideal of skills intelligence, of course, lies somewhere in the middle, combining all of these factors. But unfortunately, as you can see from the titles and the content of these challenges, some of them are actually kind of mutually exclusive. Meaning that, for example, if you have detailed information and you want to have detailed information on very many occupations, then you may get into troubles with representativeness because many, especially small occupations, are not sufficiently present in the traditional labor market data. If something is detailed, it may not be affordable. It's a big difference if you cover 50 occupations or 500 or several thousand. Other challenge is the skills. And again, it is kind of linked to affordability because doing a traditional skill survey is extremely expensive. And finally, if you want to have something timely, you have to update it with a relatively high frequency, and it also increases the costs on your side. Taking into account these challenges, we may have a look at the data sources that we usually use. First and most important one of those are employment or household surveys, like labor force survey. And this type of data is usually quite representative and also affordable because basically you can purchase it or get it for little to no cost. But unfortunately, it doesn't have any information on skills, and the quality of detail and timeliness is kind of an average. With the skill survey, we can get information on skills, but unfortunately, the information is usually not very detailed. If you take a look at, for example, Cedefop's European Skills and Job Survey, you would realize that we work with approximately 20 skill groups or skill aggregations, and this is probably not sufficient enough, especially when you have to deal with very specific professional skills for hundreds and possibly thousands of occupations. Cedefop Skills Forecast is a source that is relatively affordable, and it's also built in such a way that is sufficiently representative across countries, sectors, and occupations. But it doesn't provide informed skills. That is basically very basically use proxies like education level to understand a little bit of the demand for skills. But this is as far as we can get. And one of the latest sources that Cedefop started to work with only a couple of years ago are online job advertisements. And of course, the data coming from OJS contain a lot of skills, around 2,000 for the most developed language pipelines and English. It is very timely. You can develop an analysis usually with like 2-3 months delay after the data collection. It is very detailed, but unfortunately, given the nature of job advertising online, it is not very representative, and still it comes with substantial cost for running and maintaining the system. Taking into account all of these sources, the Cedefop Skills Intelligence works with 4 major inputs. As I said, these are surveys, the skills forecast, online job advertisements, and a tool where we measure and compare the quality of European skill systems, which we call the European Skills Index. And all of these tools and data collections has its own publications, online tools, and also data. So in a process of developing the skills intelligence, we take the data from all of these sources, combine it with the other traditional survey type of data that comes from Eurostat, and we develop something that is called blended skills intelligence that builds on strengths of each data and each collection method. And we present the skills intelligence at occupational level, at sector level, which in our perspective is the level of economic sectors like manufacturing or healthcare, and also at country level. And in addition to that, we focus on some large trends that are shaping labor market and skill demand, for example, digitalization, green transition, and societal changes like aging, for example. When developing skills intelligence, we also have to pay close attention to who our users are, and what are their needs. We started the developing of skills intelligence with focusing on researchers and labor market analysts, but also on policy officers and officials. Later on, we have added other types of users, for example, providers of vocational education and training, sectoral players, for example, sectoral associations that develop sectoral skill needs, and then also the career guidance providers. And focusing now a little bit more on this group, we understand that there are also different type of users within the career guidance sector itself. You have people who are more engaged with developing policy and strategies for career guidance. Then you have people who are coordinators of provision of career guidance, and then you have the frontline workers, the career guidance practitioners. And it also matters for us where the career guidance is provided. So skills intelligence should probably look a little bit different when you speak about specialized career guidance centers, or whether you speak about career guidance provided at employment services, or the one at schools or training centers. After quite some discussions and meetings with career guidance professionals, we also now understand better what are the limitations of skills intelligence when used for the purpose of career guidance counseling. First of all, skills intelligence focuses mostly on the demand side of the labor market. It means that we mainly follow the employer's perspective, number of jobs created, jobs vacated, or skills requested. It is also perhaps too quantitative. So the information coming from skills intelligence will be dealing with the number of jobs, share of jobs requesting a specific skill, and so on. In addition to that, skills intelligence usually misses the context part. What makes jobs attractive and vice versa. So what are the work conditions? What is the quality of the contracts offered? What is the pay or a prestige of a job in a society? And the final remark is that skills intelligence is a kind of a cold math. So we do the calculations, we see the trends, but how to incorporate people's desires, feelings, and expectations that are also super important from the career guidance perspective. Career guidance can fill some gaps in skills intelligence by providing a good feedback loop and looking into the factors that we from the skills intelligence perspective usually miss. Based on the discussions that we had with career guidance professionals, we can also develop some priorities, or to state some priorities for the skills intelligence to be really useful for career guidance process. One of them is that the skills intelligence needs to be to the point. Career guidance specialists usually do not have the time to familiarize themselves with skills intelligence tools that have a general purpose. The importance of visualizing information, as they say, a picture is worth 1,000 words. So we engage a lot in developing catching graphs and maps, and also specific visualizations that help to illustrate what the information that the skills intelligence provides. And we also understand that both wider context and detail are needed for the career guidance process. So the career guidance needs to understand both large scale trends like the digitalization or the green transition, but also specifics of concrete jobs. When considering all this information and knowledge that we gathered, we can say that there is a way how to connect both sides, meaning the development of skills intelligence and provision of career guidance. So the career guidance, in our understanding, is also a source of information of skills intelligence, but the one that unfortunately is not used very much recently because the tools and information sharing hasn't been much developed. We also need to understand that skills intelligence usually focuses on societal needs. What are the shortage jobs? Where are the missing skills? And so on. But the individual perspective, which is in the center of career guidance, can be different. So skills intelligence can say, okay, so these are the most shortage jobs. But from an individual perspective, they may not be the best ones for successful career development because they can offer bad work conditions, low pay, or simply are not attractive and they don't have the prestige in the society. Also, skills intelligence, and this we need to reiterate always when working with its outputs and connecting to recommendations, that it is not a crystal ball. So we need a good awareness on how it works, explanations how to use it, and we also need to be honest and open to admit limitations that may limit the quality of decisions based on it. So I would like to conclude this part of the presentation by pointing out to our online tools that we have. So first, the ones that are based on a specific project, like the skills forecast or the skills await. This is the one where we present the information coming from online job advertisements, the European Skills and Job Survey, the Matching Skills Database, or the European Skills Index. And mainly the first three, together with the data from Eurostat, come and create a specific type of products and visualizations within what we call the skills intelligence tool. And in the second part of my presentation, I will quickly show you its main features. Thank you for your attention. In the second part of my presentation, I will briefly show you how to access and navigate the skills intelligence information on CEDEFOP website. There are two ways how you can access it. One is via Teams, and you see that skills intelligence is one of those under the skills and labor market area. Or you can go to online tools where the skills intelligence icon is located roughly in the middle of your screen. Either way, you will get to the front page of the tool and you can see that you can display the data by various means. So you have a view by indicators, by sectors, occupations and countries, and because from the career guidance perspective, the occupations are probably the closest and most interesting one, let's choose an example from here. So when you choose occupations, you can later select which occupation you are interested about. So for example, access care workers. So the care workers, and basically every dashboard is structured the same way, meaning that you start with some description of what the occupation is about and what are the major tasks. Then you had the selection of key facts, like a total employment, share of women in employment, and so on. And then comes the part with charts and visualizations. So you have a chart on future prospects, more to the right, the better. Then you have information what detailed occupations we aggregate as care workers. So you see the personal care workers in health services and childcare workers and teachers' aides. Then you can also see the information about the future prospects from the first chart, broken down by country, where basically the darker the color is, the higher prospects this occupation has in a specific country. We include information on tasks and skills from two sources. One is from European database of tasks and indices, which is more robust but less detailed information gathered via survey and similar tools. And then you can also see a data that comes from CEDEFOP's online job advertisements. So if you, for example, choose skill, you see the most important skills that we have been able to link with care workers. Information about salary, unfortunately not very detailed, but you see the salary range. And in a related indicator, you can also see how this occupation performs in terms of level of income with occupations that can be deemed as similar. Information about sectoral employment. So you see that, of course, health care workers predominantly employed in health and social care sector, and to a small degree in arts, recreation, and other services sector. To complement the information on skills, we also provided information what type of formal education people employed as care workers have. So this is this one. And the profile of the occupation ends with another information from CEDEFOP Skills Forecast, which basically forecasts what will be the future job openings for that occupation for different levels of education. In addition to that, and we can go again back, we have a section on articles. So we not only provide information about occupation via data and visualizations, but you can also have some more reading. When you open the article, it's in a form of a short study that has several parts, tasks and skills, trends for the future, drivers of change, but also an important part on how the skill needs and the future skill needs are related to the occupation we met. Coming back to skills intelligence tool, you can also display the data combining occupation and country. So, for example, coming back to care workers, now we see it by default displayed for the whole EU, but you can also open the country filter and say that, for example, you are interested in information for care workers in Poland. And then all the data that we have is recalculated and providing the Poland situation and a comparison of that occupation in the country for the whole EU. And that's it. I am happy that I was able to present you the information on skills intelligence and how it could be used for career guidance, and be happy for your feedback and questions if you may have any. Thank you.
Hello colleagues, welcome in this webinar. I'm really delighted that this opportunity was provided for me, but for all of us, to discuss what the future of skills means in the field of career guidance and how professionals in the field of career guidance are actually infected with the changing nature of the technology. My name is Tibor Bors Borbély Pece from Budapest, has been working in the field of career guidance and policy design the last probably already 25 years. And then now I'm going to discuss these megatrends and changes all around the profession of career guidance. Thank you. In this presentation today, or whenever you are actually going to watch it online, I'm going to talk about the changing nature of the skills. And skills are usually the global values we are talking about endlessly in current modern societies. And what I want to highlight today, what actually these changes are in the field of skills and how we are mobilizing skills in our society, in our daily life, and how they are connected with the role of career guidance and career building. Secondly, I want to highlight a couple of megatrends which are affecting the daily work of guidance professionals. So today, mainly I'm going to talk about 7 key issues. The first one, as I already mentioned, how the skills are infecting and surrounding our daily life, and why, for example, the OECD, the ILO, the World Economic Forum, so all of these knowledge hubs has been talking about the role of career guidance, the role of skills and the role of career guidance in relation to the skills. Secondly, I want to go back a bit in time, in history, and also highlighting the role of from craftsmanship to the building of the guilds, how industrialization has changed the life of ordinary people, and how professionalization and occupational standards became a norm of the 20th century. Then very much inspired by a couple of authors, you can see them in the first slide. Shushkin and Shushkin, who are actually British, and also many American writers. I want to go into details a bit about the future of the profession, what Shushkin and Shushkins are discussing, the deprofessionalization of the profession, why is it actually happening, and again, how is it related with our field. Then I'm going to list a couple of trends and probably summing up with takeaways for professionals. So let's see what we have for today. Well, as we all know, skills are everywhere. And even as a career guidance professional, probably we have the feeling that skills are overrepresented in the daily discussion, in the policy level, but also in the school level or in the labor market. Nowadays, everybody's talking about skills and how important skills are, but also, before going into the detailed description of the current situation in the labor markets and in modern societies, probably important to make a note here about the definition of skills, and then understanding that whenever in English, and then my mother tongue is not English, and then I guess that most of those going to watch this video or going to take part in the seminar also not native speakers. So often we are translating skills, for example in Hungarian, only to képesség. But, in the OECD discussion, in the discussion of the UNESCO or the European Commission and so on, whenever we are referring to skills, it often means a competence, and then we are coming closer to a different understanding of the skills and how skills can be gained and then can mobilized in a society or in a labor market or in a school system. So here we are also talking about abilities, and we are talking about attitudes towards a different type of daily activities like work or learning activities. So I think this let's take it like a footnote in the beginning of my presentation, very important to understand this definition as it is and not only focusing precisely on the skills or exclusively on the skills. So what is this new word about? I think all of us who are using our smartphone every day, opening the computer, buying a bus ticket, going to the grocery, so we are just living our daily life. We are very much influenced with many changes all around us. Many authors or many international organizations describing this that's as a fourth industrial revolution, or the Japanese already counting the fifth revolution in their papers. But just keep it short, we are really in the brand new world. And the question is why? I'm fully sure that many of you who are watching this video are already realizing the ChatGPT. Probably some of you already tried it out, or all of you or all of us are using the Google to translate text from one language to another, to buy your air ticket, or checking the price of different type of products. So because of the internet revolution, since the early 2000s, after the 90s, when the globalization actually had really begun at the full-scale level. So since the last 20 years, let's put it like this, we are living in a very different world where we are all superheroes, but we are only superheroes until we have access to our smartphones. Because me and my smartphone knows everything. If I'm disengaged from my smartphone, my superpower goes away. So this is a way how we can describe also the role of the artificial intelligence and also the internet as such all around us. So let's see what are the real consequences on the role of professionalization, occupational standards, and then how we are building careers. So as Shushkin and other researchers are also describing this, it's when we are talking about artificial intelligence, when we are talking about the internet revolution, and it has many other names, digitalization and so on, it's always or very often described or very often understood as a supporting power for professionals. So because we have the superpower, because we have access to the internet, to different type of online tools, we are capable to do more than before. The other way of understanding is that because of the internet, because of digitalization, because of AI, many people will be neglected in the labor market, and a huge precariat part of the labor market has been growing. So this is also a way how people are understanding digitalization and the role of artificial intelligence. But there is also a third way to understand it, when we are talking about not professionalization, but the opposite, deprofessionalization of different types of occupations. Professionalization in the 19th, 20th century was a way when certain professions, certain people who were working in the same field became the only ones who knows how to do the business. So basically they built a type of monopoly, and they also built professional autonomy to act. And this come across with the service ethos. So let's take the example of a lawyer, let's take the example of a teacher. Still, this is the case in most of the modern countries, that once I'm talking with a teacher of my daughters, then I have to believe on the level of autonomy and the level of professionality of a teacher. The same with us, with career guidance professionals. In the old traditional way, how career guidance was delivered, we as guidance professionals basically created the settings where the client, the counselees, come to our offices, and they basically accepted that we as professionals, we have a monopoly to act, and we know better how to serve them. This has changed a lot, or has been changing a lot in the current years. And this is what I want to highlight, why these changes are coming and what are the actual effect on the professionalization of guidance, but also professionalization of other different occupations. Here we can identify certain type of megatrends which has a very strong effect on skills and how we are able to use the skills. The first big issue, the branch of issues, is a transition from industrialization to post-industrial societies. Again, this is a buzzword, we are hearing it very frequently. But again, when we are going into details, we are able to identify certain type of, let's call them like sub-megatrends, which are really affecting, intervening how career guidance as a profession is settled, how career guidance services are available, and what's the role of the user. So what's the role actually of the counseling on this? Just to highlight a few of these sub-trends. First, we are now living in the information-rich society or information-rich labor market or education system. So the very traditional ways when we as users, we as citizens, we as counselees were forced to physically approach a school, physically approach a branch office of a public employment service, and so on, or an employer, to get engaged or to learn something from certain cases. This is not anymore the reality. So again, just taking the example of a smartphone, once we have a smartphone, once we have access to the Wi-Fi, and also we have computer literacy, so we also have the capability how to use this information. We have access, especially if we speak, for example, English or other big languages, we have access to basically all the libraries around the globe. So basically it means that how we are getting information has been changed a lot. The problematic part from the counseling perspective or from the teaching perspective, that now the information is all around us, but the capability to absorb, the capability to use this information, it's very challenging. And we know from sociology that different classes in a society has different level of access to information. This is not often the case in many countries anymore, but still, once you have the information, how can you use it? How can you develop different structures from these pieces of information? Also, what is a global trend, at least in the OECD countries, that there is an expansion of the higher education. So actually we have more people very highly educated and skillful in modern societies. This was never the case before the 20th century. And also an additional element which I think is very relevant in career guidance, that we are moving away from survival cultures and we are moving to self-expression cultures. If we take into consideration the global value survey, which data are available back in like 20 or almost 30 years in time, this shift is very clearly indicating that now the new generation, younger people, are more emphasized to express their own wishes and needs than just basically doing the daily work to survive in a society. Again, it's also creates tensions in every society and also creates a lot of job for guidance professionals. So the second point of these megatrends is about the economic and information globalization. As I already mentioned in the beginning of my presentation, this is really started in the 90s, before the revolution of the internet. It basically means that now we are all living in a global village, to put it in this way. So, for example, traveling from Budapest to Australia wouldn't take more than a day. Traveling within Europe is like a very small continent, takes us only a few hours. But not only people are able to travel, but information and businesses and obviously investors are also traveling around. So the global value chains became a very new norm of the modern economies and modern societies. So that's one of the reasons why we were so much shocked during the COVID in 2020, because these global value chains were cut. So the Chinese were not able to send in the cargo ships to Europe and to the USA. So therefore, many decision makers started to talk about the reindustrialization and the needs to bring back the outsourced services, the outsourced building capacities from Asia or from Africa. Globalization also means that now we are focusing and listening the global media, and then unfortunately we are very much unaware of this. So whenever we are opening or Google, whenever we are opening or TV, but people are not really doing it anymore, we are basically influenced by global media. Either it's used to be the CNN, or nowadays it's the Russia Today or Al Jazeera or many other broadcasting companies. They are there to create a different type of echo chambers. So basically, regardless of our nationality, if we are Hungarian, Slovak, Germans or so on, we are very much influenced by the rise of the global media. I think it's again something that career guidance professionals and career educators have to be aware that our users are coming from the different echo chambers nowadays and having a different type of views about the very similar issues. That was never the case. So for example, taking the Hungarian experience, as now we are in a studio to recording this presentation, in the early 90s in Hungary was only one TV channel, and there everybody was watching the same Fridericus show every Sunday evening. So that was discussed in the workplaces in every Monday. But we don't have these type of anchors anymore, because people are watching very different contents and they have very different understanding. Sometimes we are realizing when we are trying to engage in very daily basic discussion with others that we are not using the same language anymore. Although we both are talking in Hungarian, in English, and German, and so on, but our understanding about the globe, the understanding about the news are completely different. And the third point is here what we also can call a megatrend, the establishment of the liberal world order since the 90s, which basically means that human rights now are important everywhere. That wasn't also the case. So just back in the 20th century until the 1960s, we still lived in a time when Africa and many other parts of the globe were still colonized. Or even take the example of Malta or Cyprus. Until the 1960s, they were colonized by the British. So even the European history, it's only very recent that we are learning that human rights and independence of certain nations and regions are so important. It also comes with a price that there are watchdogs, and access to human rights is taking much more serious in many parts of the globe than before. Here I want to just highlight the link between this point I'm just discussing at the moment, the human rights, and the self-expression as a value and the changes in the values. Are we moving too far on this? That's another rhetorical question, because nowadays very often what we are observing when we are teaching, where we are working with career starters, that their self-expression sometimes is even more important than any type of responsibility for a society, for the labor market or nation and abstract structures like these. So let's see some of the push factors behind all of these megatrends. Again, because of the digitalization, because of the wide access to the internet, people are not anymore sitting in their home and waiting for the certain companies or factories to producing equipments for them. But now they are in a position to start doing their own production. And this is really a game changer. In a way, we are moving back in time when in the old traditional societies people were capable to do their own furniture or make their own furniture at home. And then we almost did forget this knowledge in the last 150 years of industrialization. And due to the democratization of the productivity, so now simple households, simple citizens have access, for example, to 3D printing. Well, even if the costs are still very high. It basically means that now we are in a driving seat, and now we are able to co-design and co-create our own products. Anderson, in his book describing this process in a very detailed way, here I just want to mention that how these changes are affecting what we are and what we can do with the end users in career guidance and counseling. It also means that we are not anymore relying only on the end and spoken model, but as the British or the American abbreviation, the do-it-yourself is already an option. So not only if you are really having this as a hobby, but in your daily life now, in your own household, you are capable to develop your own production lines in a way. It also means that production is now very much individualized and then led by the needs of certain household or certain purchasers, which again was not the case. If we are recalling how the original T model production started in the early years of the 20th century, it was nothing else than was one single model, and the only color which was available was black. Now we're in a situation when if I want to purchase a car, I can basically design, even with an ordinary traditional factory. As a buyer, I'm able to design my own needs and then can change not only the color but many other equipments of the car. And from that point, we very soon going to reach a situation where we will be in a position to design and create our own product. So even the IKEA model, the Swedish furniture company, is going to change, because now they are very much running for head, that providing the feeling for the consumers that now you can purchase certain furnitures in the IKEA, but then you are in the one who is actually producing or making the end product ready. From that point, we are very soon will reach a situation where we're going to sit in front of the smartphones, front of the laptops, and then basically creating our own furniture. And IKEA is going to just create one single furniture set for a certain household. This is really a huge change which has impacts in the labor market, in the society. Okay, and then trying to summarize, what are the consequences of all of these megatrends and all of these changes? First of all, as we can say, this is the end of the engineering monopoly. So now not only the big companies, not only firms are able to create products, but then household or individuals now in the driving seat. It also means that it's more or less end of the legal monopoly in that sense. And what is the most important for us, career guidance professional, in a way, is the end of the career guidance professionals monopoly. Because there are information all around the internet about labor market intelligence, which also means that people have access to learning and working opportunities. So career guidance professionals are not anymore the gatekeepers. Instead of that, our clients or users are looking for a specialized type of and a specialized and fragmented type of answers for their questions, which means that what we are going to do in the future as guidance professional is more collaborative action than just teaching career education skills for students or for adults. And here I just want to showcase a model which will be, I assume, very detailed discussed in the other presentation. What is the actual new waves in lifelong guidance? So in the turn of the 19th century, we really started with the delivering information model and matching people with jobs. Early Boston, early Budapest, early Prague, turn of the 19th century, where occupational standards were very basic. There were not too many professionals in the labor market. So this model worked very well. And through the journey of 100 years, we end up now what, for example, Jana Kettunen, Verinen and Samson call the co-creation model. And then co-creation in that sense is co-careering, when the guidance professionals are working jointly with the users and creating these careers, so building careers. So more or less that was what I planned to discuss today. Thank you for your kind attention. As the end of the presentation, I want to share also the references which were used to develop this presentation. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Jana Kettunen. I work at the Finnish Institute for Educational Research at the University of Jyväskylä, Finland. I'm a research professor of lifelong guidance and vice director of the institute. Dear colleagues, it's a great pleasure to join you and share some thoughts on the very current topic, focusing on digital competence in career guidance. As we all well know, our society has been fundamentally changed over the past year due to COVID and rapid developments in existing and emerging technologies, such as social media, virtual reality technologies, and artificial intelligence. And this change will continue. The use of existing and emerging technologies in guidance-related activities has increased dramatically in recent years, as I mentioned, leading the whole guidance sector to acknowledge the need to expand its understanding of these new technologies and also to modernize our current services. Access to digital services, including e-services, has changed how individuals explore and acquire information about education, training, and work opportunities. And this requires that users, career practitioners, career service providers, and also public administration have sufficient digital skills. It is acknowledged that existing and emerging technologies offer significant opportunities for guidance services, but they also create a demand for new competency among us, among career practitioners. If we look a little bit back on our profession and how it has evolved and the role of technology, with the technological developments and digitalization changes in our society, there has also been a continuous evolvement of our professional role. Much of the past century, emphasis on guidance professionals was on helping people, helping individuals to make informed, point-in-time occupational choices. And at that time, the guidance services, the services that we provided, they were driven mainly by the need to match individuals' trades to jobs. And within that context, our role was pretty much to be those who had the expert and knowledge and skills on content, and especially the knowledge about the labor market and the methods that how did we assess the individual's suitability for and capabilities in the labor market. That model assumed that the individual's abilities and interest could be identified and matched with the relevant occupations. As information started to be digitalized and occupational choice came to be seen rather like a part of larger development process rather than just a singular matching exercise, emphasis shifted from vocational development to career development. Here, our role expanded from being expert in understanding the labor market to being experts and being practitioners who needed to possess specialized knowledge about processes of career development and career decision making. As a result, we moved beyond guiding individuals' career choices, now facilitating individuals' career development. And of course, here, when we talk about facilitating individuals' career development, this includes the acquisition of application of career management skills. In other words, bringing in the purpose of choosing career and be prepared for continuous changes in labor market and also in upskilling and reskilling. Today, guidance services have evolved beyond placement and career development into a networking model. This model prepares individuals for life and employment by focusing on developing networking skills, building relationships with stakeholders, and establishing communities that will serve the individual's career and professional needs throughout the lifetime. Within this model, the practitioner's role has expanded to include expertise in managing social spaces. Social spaces where we come together to face and meet other people, but also the new social spaces that are very much taking place in online settings. So new information technologies have accelerated this process. The continuous development of recruiting software and social media has redefined how individuals make sense of their experiences and connect with employers and professional communities. In this context, our role as professionals have evolved in the contact experts and network catalysts who participate in variety of communities and develop meaningful connections among stakeholders. Career practitioners now provide direct services to individual clients seeking educational or vocational opportunities, while at the same time offer consulting services to a number of organizations. We inform policymakers and perform a range of other roles that promote community capacity building and individuals' access to employment. In short, guidance services, career services have moved from private to the public sphere and expanded from individual sessions to more collective engagement. And technology, existing and emerging technology, is playing an important role in all these different settings. Digitalization and digital competence in career guidance, what do research tell us? Well, when we look at the recent studies that have been conducted, they have revealed us how career practitioners conceive the role of digital technologies in their everyday work, and what are the different approaches that practitioners take when they use technology in their field. There is a clear variation in approaches, but as we can see here, they clearly expand from seeing the technology mainly as a solely a technology to use in delivering information to a technology that can also be used in co-careering. I will shortly go through what are the different ways that we as professionals currently use the technologies and what are the skills and competencies that are relating the different ways of using it. The most typical and in a way the most limited way of using existing and emerging technologies is to use it for delivering information. Especially social media is perceived today as an effective means of delivering and disseminating information quickly, enabling us to reach a large number of people at the same time. When we use technology for information, this links to the competency, the ability to use the technology for delivering information, to an operational understanding of different technologies and tools and how to use them so that they will best meet the information needs of the different audiences. The ability to be an active and safe participant in different digital environments requires that we as professionals have proficiency in locating, evaluating and using these various types of online content and services in critical and active manner. There's tons of different kind of information sources available. Some of them are text-based, some of them are visualized, some of them are provide professionals, some of them are provide from different organizations. So for us, it is important that we are aware of the differences and can also help individuals and support individuals' ability to use these different resources and evaluate their usefulness. Many of us also have a role on providing information. We have seen in past years, we have seen quite a big shift on what kind of formats the information take place. So we have seen the shift from text-based information towards more visualized information. Visual social media platforms that share visual messages rather than traditional text alone are increasingly popular among some of our client groups. And this also challenges us to rethink what are the most effective ways to share the information to the target group that we are serving. And this also brings a new competency area for us. How do we make information in such a format that it will reach the individuals who we are serving? And how do we make the information in such a format that individuals by themselves are also willing to maybe share that among them others? So for example, regarding social media, how do we as professionals make social media to work for our purposes? The second way that we use technology, the second approach, as I call them, links the potential usefulness of the digital technologies in career guidance to experiencing it as a medium to one-to-one communication, requiring the ability to use it as a tool in our everyday practice. Digital technologies are perceived as a functional and readily available alternative to face-to-face career guidance service delivery that also enables sometimes that individuals can approach us via anonymous form. Competency to use digital technology to communication, it's linked a lot on the practical digital skills. In other words, awareness of how different digital tools function. There's a number of different tools that are available. Some of them are more suitable for using with individuals and especially on one-to-one communication modes. So having a good knowledge, a good understanding what tools can be used securely and what elements when we use text-based or communication or even on visual modes, it's important knowledge. But also focus on practical communication skills across these different kind of technological platforms and environments is of importance. In different technological platforms, when we use it for communication, this communication can occur in asynchronously, meaning that there is a delay in the receipt of message, or synchronously, where people communicate simultaneously in real time. Some words are a bit difficult for me in English. Although right now where we are living, we are using such a communication where we can see and we can communicate in real time. Still, there's a lot of tools that are leaning on writing. So online writing is still regarded an important skill for when we use technology on one-to-one communication. Ability to be a versatile writer and develop the style that meets the needs of the individuals that we are trying to serve requires various types of writing skills and readiness to do things in new ways. We are very well trained to have a face-to-face communication, but when we need to reconsider how do we move all of these professionals where we are good, how do we move that on written form, and that requires sometimes an extra thinking and extra skill set. Furthermore, thoughtful and careful word usage is highlighted when we use communication on text-based, because the interpretation of the meaning, intent, and tone might rely solely on the type words. And as I mentioned, on today's word, the video communication skills are coming much in front. How do we appear when we have real-time synchronous communication? How do we set the backgrounds? How do we set, how we also instruct the individual who we are talking, the making secure environment where they can reflect and share their thoughts. So this is a new set of skills for and competency for us too. The third approach on using technology is the collaborative career exploration approach. And this links the use of digital technology in a group settings, considering it as an interactive space where we come together, where we bring a group of people together to learn, share, and reflect on common question and expand our understanding of the theme or the topic. This approach or this way of using technology emphasize or it links the ability to utilize these technologies for collaborative career learning. and also makes best use of makes the use of the pedagogical affordance of the technology. In other words, the methods, techniques, activities that foster collaborative process in career learning and acquisition of career management skills among peer groups come as important in this way of using technology. In this approach, the ability to generate and maintain an engaging and conversational, constructive online discussion with individuals and groups, it requires from us a competency to appropriately structure and actively facilitate and guide and shape the discourses that take place in group settings. Furthermore, the practical understanding of the methods to enhance participation and interaction on online discourse is highlighted. The fourth approach that we can see from the research and how do we as professionals use technology on these days is what we call co-career. The concept of co-careering, it refers to the shared expertise and meaningful co-construction of career issues, not only in a group settings where individuals know each other beforehand or where they come together in same physical space, but co-construction of career issues among community members. So this kind of approach or way of using technology takes mainly place online and especially in social media settings. Here, there is a change in our professional role, and there is a change in nature of control in guidance process, where practitioners have become as a one member of this group. So being a participant in this process. So individuals, anyone who is member of such a group where career-related discussions are taking place, professional as one, are all equally discussing and sharing their knowledge and building a new understanding. Here, competency, an ability to utilize the digital technology for co-construction on career issues is linked to creating and maintaining a reliable online presence. The ability to create a reliable and authentic image of oneself within the relevant communities requires a mindful online presence, as well as monitoring and actively updating of one's online profiles. Maintaining an online presence also requires a practical understanding of the means and methods by which this presence is projected online to the others. Coming together, different approaches are using technology for information, for communication, one-to-one communication, collaborative group settings where we as a professionals have a main role on setting targets and structuring what has taken place, and in co-careering. They all share some similar competencies, but as we can see, when we move from one approach to another, they also build in the previous way. So this picture brings all together what kind of skills and competencies in different kind of ways have been acknowledged through the research. In conclusion, what we know for sure is that digital technologies, the evolvement of existing and emerging technologies will continue and will challenge the traditional interactions and relationships between guidance practitioners and individuals. These technologies, they can play a significant role in reforming the career guidance practice to better reach citizens who need assistance with career exploration and decision making. We have the opportunity to create new practices and paradigms to better reach individuals who need assistance with career exploration and decision making. One central prerequisite for versatile and functional utilization of digital technologies is a good understanding of how different career-related questions become relevant at different stages of an individual's life, and how technology may be best used in these different approaches and in different circumstances where we face with clients. The challenge for the profession is to decide how do we best use these technologies, which kind of ways will serve best and fit best on the positions where you are working. And then this kind of research may bring you new ideas on how do I enhance my own digital competency and what kind of skills and training could serve me when I want to strengthen my own skills and competencies on using these existing and emerging technology in my practice. I thank you for the opportunity to present, and if you have any further questions or contact, please do not hesitate to be in touch. Thank you.
I am Dr. Szilvia Fodor, a psychologist and associate professor at Eötvös Loránd University, Budapest, Hungary. And I will give you an overview of the goal-setting theory of Locke and Ledham, show why goal-setting is so important both in our everyday life and in our career decisions, and also give you a few practical recommendations about how you can help your students in their career path. The landscape of motivation has evolved in the past few decades from past-oriented approaches, primarily focused on past successes and failures, to future-oriented theories. This transformation reflects a profound shift in our understanding of motivation and its role in driving human achievement. These recent motivational theories emphasize the importance of setting clear, challenging goals that create a vision of a better future. Motivational quotes are often powerful tools for inspiring action and change. What sets them apart is their inherent focus on the future, rather than dwelling on the past. By emphasizing the potential for growth, improvement, and success that lies ahead, motivational quotes serve as reminders that our actions today can shape a brighter future, and that's why they are so popular. One of the best-known motivational theories, Locke and Ledham's goal-setting theory, also underscores the role of future-oriented goals in increasing motivation. It asserts that specific and ambitious goals provide individuals with a clear vision of what they can achieve. This vision fuels their determination and creates a sense of purpose and direction. In today's motivational landscape, success stories are often framed within the context of individuals setting and pursuing their future-oriented goals. Goals, according to Locke and Ledham, act as a navigational tool for behavior, as they offer a structured roadmap toward future aspiration. According to their research, goals not only affect behavior and job performance, but also help mobilize energy, leading to a higher effort overall. Locke and Ledham's goal-setting theory details 5 key principles that support the creation of effective and motivating goals. These are clarity, challenge, commitment, feedback, and complexity. Clarity is important when it comes to goals. A clear goal is one that can be measured and leaves no room for misunderstanding. Goals should be very explicit regarding what outcome is desired and how it will be measured. Challenging goals stretch your mind and cause you to think bigger. However, setting challenging goals requires a careful balance to ensure the right degree of challenge. Goals that are either too easy or too difficult negatively affect motivation and decrease performance. Thirdly, commitment is also important. Whether you are setting a goal for yourself or for someone else, in order to accomplish these goals, one must first fully understand and agree to them, and they should be consistent with the aspirations of everyone involved in the task. Feedback helps you know what you are doing right and how you are doing. This allows you to adjust your expectations and your plan of action. Feedback doesn't necessarily have to come from other people. It can come from self-judgment as well. Task complexity is the final factor. We have to be careful in adding too much complexity to our goals, as complexity can impact productivity and motivation. Highly complex goals can become overwhelming for people. For such complex goals, people need to be provided sufficient time and sufficient resources. These goal-setting principles can help improve our chances of success, help motivate us to develop strategies that will enable us to perform at the required goal level. And that's why goal-setting can be a very powerful motivational technique. Let me mention a few major research findings in relation to goal-setting and motivation just to illustrate its significance. People who write their goals are more likely to achieve their goals than those who don't by 50%. 92% of New Year resolutions fail by the 15th of January. Explaining your goals to someone you are close to or making the commitment public substantially increases your chances of reaching your goal. Harvard research documents that 83% of the population of the United States do not have goals. Finally, goals have an energizing function. The higher the goal, the greater the effort invested. So, what is the relationship between goals and performance? According to Locke and Ledham, they consistently found that how well you perform on a task depends on how hard the task is. If you have the skills and commitment needed, the harder the task, the better your performance tends to be. Their research also revealed that people tend to adjust how much effort they put in based on how difficult the task is. In simple terms, when facing a tough challenge, most people naturally try harder compared to when they are dealing with an easier task. This shows that our motivation and effort levels change depending on the difficulty of the goals we set for ourselves. Angela Duckworth's hierarchy of goals theory breaks goals down into 3 layers: low-level, mid-level, and high-level goals. Low-level goals are daily tasks. Mid-level goals are steps toward bigger ambitions, and high-level goals are those overarching life dreams. Now, grit, as Duckworth defines it, is all about passion and persistence for these big long-term goals. It's about keeping your enthusiasm and effort alive, even when things get tough. What's interesting is that grit is closely tied to this goal hierarchy. People with grit are those who understand that their everyday tasks and intermediate goals are stepping stones toward achieving their grand lifelong aspirations. They don't let setbacks discourage them. Instead, they see them as part of the journey. In simple terms, Duckworth's theory shows us how aligning different goals can fuel grit and lead to long-term success. So, why should we set goals in life? Setting goals in life is immensely valuable for several reasons. Firstly, it helps clarify our behaviors by providing a clear sense of direction and purpose. When we set specific goals, we have a roadmap to follow, making it easier to make choices and prioritize actions. Secondly, goals allow for feedback. They act as measurable benchmarks, enabling us to track our progress and make necessary adjustments along the way, fostering a sense of accountability and learning. Furthermore, goal setting can promote happiness. As I mentioned before, working towards and achieving goals provides a sense of accomplishment and fulfillment, boosting overall well-being. Finally, goals encourage us to utilize our strengths. By setting targets that resonate with our skills and passions, we tap into our full potential, leading to a more fulfilling and purposeful life. In essence, setting goals serves as a powerful tool for personal growth, motivation, and a meaningful life journey. Goal setting plays a significant role in promoting mental well-being too, as supported by numerous studies in the field of psychology and well-being research. Setting and striving towards meaningful goals can provide individuals with a sense of purpose and direction in life, which is closely linked to improved mental health. A study published in the Journal of Happiness Studies in 2022 found that when individuals set goals that align with their values and intrinsic motivations, they experienced greater well-being and life satisfaction. Furthermore, the act of setting and pursuing goals can boost self-esteem and self-efficacy, two essential components of mental health. Studies such as the one published in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology by Emmons in 1986 have shown that achieving personal goals can enhance one's sense of competence and overall psychological well-being. In essence, goal setting not only provides a roadmap for achievement, but also contributes significantly to an individual's mental resilience, self-esteem, and overall well-being. But why is goal setting so important in career orientation? Effective career planning also begins with setting clear, actionable goals. So let's take a look at those strategies that help you in this process. First, reflect on your passions and values. Before setting career goals, reflect on what motivates, energizes you, and aligns with your values, providing a foundation for meaningful goals. Secondly, define SMART goals. Make your goals specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound, providing clarity and a measurable framework. Third, break down goals into milestones. Divide large goals into manageable pieces, offering motivation, tracking progress, celebrating achievements, and making adjustments if necessary. Then conduct a skills gap analysis. Assess your skills and identify areas for improvement to prioritize professional development and identify training opportunities. Then create a career action plan. Craft a detailed plan with actionable steps, timelines, and necessary resources, adjusting it as your career evolves. Consider networking events, workshops, mentorship programs, or additional education to support your plan. Seek mentorship and network. Connect with professionals, seek mentorship, and expand your network for guidance and opportunities, and to expand your contacts and gain insights into potential career opportunities. And of course, embrace continuous learning. Stay updated with industry trends and enhance your expertise through courses and certifications to stay competitive in the job market. And regularly evaluate and adjust. Periodically assess progress towards your goals and career plan, adapt to change, and ensure your goals remain relevant to evolving aspirations. By following these strategies, you can shape a purpose-driven and fulfilling career path. So, what can we do? In the next part, I will show you a few examples and activities for goal setting, especially planned for high school or elementary school students within an educational context. Then some other recommendations will be made about how you can use goal setting and future planning activities in career planning. Martin Luther King's quote, "Take the first step in faith. You don't have to see the whole staircase, just take the first step," is a powerful illustration of goal setting. It emphasizes the importance of initiating action towards a goal, even when the entire path is unclear. This quote encourages individuals to have faith in their abilities and their vision, to embrace ambiguity, and to break down ambitious goals into manageable steps. Ultimately, it highlights that success often comes through incremental progress, and that taking that initial step is a crucial starting point in achieving one's goals. So, let's start with a few general goal-setting activities that can be used with elementary or high school students to draw their attention to their future, their plans, and their goals. Making a bucket list is a great way to set goals, and this activity involves the whole family in the goal-setting practice. It's a great way to both model goal setting and encourage children to practice it themselves all at once. So, get your family together and collect a piece of paper and some markers. As a family, brainstorm a list of accomplishments, experiences, or achievement goals that you want to work towards as a family over the next year. At the end of the year, look back over your list and see what you have accomplished. Celebrate the goals you accomplished as a family. Encourage your children to use online tools to help create this bucket list and to create one for themselves. Or you can draw the Wheel of Fortune, It's a fun way to introduce goal setting in different areas of life. It will show your children or students that you don't need to keep your goals limited to school and work. You can set goals in all life domains. First, draw a circle and divide it into even segments like you are cutting a pizza into slices. On each segment, write one of the most important life domains. For example, you might write family, friends, school and work, hobbies, health and fun. For each domain, have your child write out the goals he or she would like to accomplish. Make sure he keeps the goals to a specific timeline like a month, 3 months, and a year. Make sure to help her keep track of her progress throughout the timeline you choose. Or here is a simple worksheet that you can use regularly with your students to think over their goals and the necessary steps towards them. Interest maps are better for older students and they can serve as a method for career consultation as well. Here is how to help your children or students create an interest map. First, ask your students to think about what they like to do. Do they like art, science, writing, sports? Have them think about all of their interests and favorite things to do and write them down. Have them look through their list of interests and see if they can find any patterns. For example, maybe most of their interests involve helping other people or being outside. Have them create an interest map by creating a web of circles and fill them in with their interests in a way that makes sense. For example, similar interests by one another. Based on their interest map, assist them in creating goals that are relevant and meaningful to them. Now let's get a step closer to career goals. Career goals are long-term targets that define what you want to accomplish in your profession. They can include external targets like a job title or earning a specific salary, or be based on an internal motivation like making a difference in the world. The best goals map out what you want to achieve in 5 or 10 years and guide you as you advance in your career. Establishing your personal career goals is not easy, so let me show you 3 ideas that help you define and understand your major career drives. These goal-setting methodologies can be used as a blueprint for setting career goals. First, the SMART goal methodology involves setting specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound goals. It requires breaking down long-term objectives into smaller, short-term goals with clear actions, measurement criteria, and deadlines. This structured approach ensures a systematic and achievable progression toward the ultimate goal. OKR in OKR goals stands for Objectives and Key Results, and it involves breaking down a broader goal into specific objectives and outlining the actions needed to achieve them. It also focuses on defining key metrics or results that will measure progress. This method provides a clear framework for tracking and evaluating your advancement toward your goals. The one-word goal strategy simplifies goals by distilling them into a single word, such as bold or visibility. It helps maintain focus and clarity over an extended period. One-word goals can be complemented with the OKR approach to align objectives and key results with the chosen word, guiding actions and outcomes. Career road mapping was developed with a value-based perspective. This methodology begins by identifying empowering or enjoyable aspects of work and transforming them into goals. In this task, you or your client have to write 3 tasks that are energizing and 3 that are depleting, along with steps you can take to do more energizing work, all on a single page. The resulting roadmaps serve as dynamic references for maintaining progress and alignment with your career goals. Getting to know your values and aligning them with your career goals is also essential for a fulfilling and purpose-driven professional journey. Values provide direction, motivation, and a sense of authenticity in career choices, ultimately contributing to long-term satisfaction and well-being. In order to get to know your values, it is a good way to use any kind of list, card, or collection of values that help you clarify your priorities. Let me show you one by Miller and his colleagues. Here you see some major values that can be sorted and evaluated by clients. Giving them a list like this helps them think over the different perspectives and also provides them with a vocabulary to define their own value system. So there is, for example, the value of achievement, caring, challenge, beauty, cooperation, or creativity, which can be easily linked to different types of work and professions. Values are vital in career planning because they provide direction, motivation, and a sense of purpose. They help you make informed decisions, set meaningful goals, and achieve a fulfilling and satisfying career that aligns with your broader life objectives. And finally, here are a few examples of career goals that help the students to define their personal career aspirations in life. It can be something like securing job title, working for a prestigious company, earning a specific salary, making an impact, gaining career satisfaction, mastering a technology, retiring by age 55, or improving communication skills, expanding your network, finding a mentor, or becoming a mentor, or entering a new industry, and achieving better work-life balance. So, to summarize, we have explored how setting goals is like having a roadmap for your career journey, inspired by Locke and Ledham's theory. We have seen that these goals can enhance your performance, boost your mental well-being, and help you navigate your professional path. So, whether you are starting a new career or shaping your current one, remember, goals are your guiding stars. As Antoine de Saint-Exupéry wisely said, a goal without a plan is just a wish. So, let's set our goals, make our plans, and turn our dreams into reality. Thank you.
All right. Well, hello, everyone. It's exciting to be able to present virtually these days, even if it's with a recording, and hope all is well in Hungary. My name is Scott Solberg, professor here at Boston University, and I also co-direct a Center for Future Readiness as part of our Wheelock College of Education and Human Development. Nerd?
Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us, our presentation. My name is Nurten Karacan Özdemir. I am visiting professor here at Boston University from Turkey, and I am associate professor at Psychological Counseling and Guidance Department at Hacettepe University in Turkey.
Great. All right. So what we want to talk about today is taking a look at the increased importance of skills now as part of workforce readiness, and that in fact we're starting to see more and more employers asking, in the United States at least, and I'm seeing some in Europe as well, asking to see what your skill profile is, not your academic credentials, right? So it's not so much focused on the degree as much as what can you do with respect to the business and the work that we're doing. So, so this idea of looking at career skills and the competencies we're going to introduce, and then we're going to introduce a study that we've started just this fall taking a look at the nature of STEM career skills. So looking at the science, technology, engineering, math skills, and not just in terms of the academic skills you would normally think, but really a more full range of skills that we believe help someone become not just a professional scientist, but also working within industry in these STEM industries. So we'll talk about that as well and some of the findings that we're getting as we do a kind of a thematic analysis of the literature on that. So to get started then, as I said, that we're starting to see skills becoming big. We have a company, an organization in the United States that's creating a skills credential. It's called they're actually referring to them now as durable skills. We used to call them soft skills, but durable skills are the skills that once you've developed them, empathy and working in groups and all these different kinds of communication skills and awareness. Once you have those, you have them. You know, those are important skills, and they're differentiating those from the technical skills, where in the technical skills you're having to update and consistently stay up on the field. So the durable skills on the one hand, the technical skills on the other is what we're describing as a skills analysis, or the area in which we're thinking about skills. But we're really elevating as well these durable skills, because we know youth especially have a lot of these skills. They have great emerging talent that's coming up in these areas. And so helping them realize that the skills they currently have are actually employability skills is part of the process that we're trying to do in the career development activities. So this is a really fun, easy piece that we've actually created some curriculum around for doing career lessons. The idea here is that these are skills that employers are saying they're looking for. They're organized according to a social emotional learning skills model. And what's great about it is the students can identify language that they can put into a resume that automatically is facing towards what an employer is looking for in their job sector. So it's a nice way of really jumpstarting youth to think about themselves as having, in this case, some of the durable skills that we were talking about. So really nice piece to support that. We've also got some good research just talking about the value that these skills have in relation to the world of work. So individuals who are able to synthesize messages, cope with uncertainty, adaptability, which really is around that resiliency piece and the whole social emotional skill sets, they're more likely to be employed. Higher income comes from those with more self-efficacy for the work they're doing, having planning, active planning in terms of their development, and just organizational awareness, understanding systems is associated with higher income. And then job satisfaction, that self-confidence, that feeling good about the work we're doing, coping with the uncertainties, and being motivated, having that sense of a drive and relevance for why I'm working here. So these are all kind of, this is that skill set. These are all social emotional skills that really play a role then in helping youth and young adults really prepare to be successful in the world of work. We've got a company called Lightcast. They do artificial intelligence, but really focusing on labor market information. And one of the things they've just created for colleges as well as schools is to take a look at the syllabi we're using to see to what extent the skills that are embedded within that align with the world of work. So kind of thinking about it from the academic end towards supporting youth. They also have a really nice model in thinking about the range of skills we're talking about. So the common skills, which you see on this bottom piece, is the largest set. And then from there, the idea that you have specialized or technical skills and then certifications. But these common skills we call transferability. These are the transferable skills that can work across a number of different occupations. So that's just a general idea in terms of what we're talking about when we start realizing that skills is a really exciting area for us to start focusing on, less around interests, less around aptitudes, more around these malleable skill sets and competencies. And so now, Nurten, why don't you introduce for us the research that we're working on around the STEM career skills and competencies.
Great. Thank you, Scott. I would like to give information about the methodology that we followed this initial study. Our aim is to explore key theme of STEM career skills and competencies. To this end, we follow some procedure as an initial step of the mixed design research project. So in this stage, we start with the conducted literature review by following PRISMA methodology, and we conducted a search process on 2 academic databases, which are Web of Sciences and ERIC databases between the September 10 and October 3. And we use some keywords such that are system skills, system competencies, abilities, talents, capabilities, and we specifically focus on the systematic literature review research. After this initial search, we reach out 993 articles from Web of Sciences and 290 articles from ERIC. And also we search some reports published by different organizations such as National Scientific Foundation, WEF, UNESCO, etc. And we reach out 199 reports with a focus of system career skills and competencies. And then we follow some specific inclusion and exclusion criteria to decide which articles we should specifically focus on. And inclusion criteria included that being published in English and being peer-reviewed. Also, we search the articles published between last 10 years, ensuring a focus on the latest research. And we excluded the articles with a specific focus like on the disabilities and vocational education and training. After this inclusion and exclusion criteria, finally we reach out 65 research articles and 35 reports for the following steps. For the initial analysis, we use the Claude AI for conducting thematic analysis. This software has some limitation, such as just uploading 5 files at a time, and each file not exceeding 10 megabyte in size, which made us to consider to analyze the documents separately. That's why we focus on the specific articles that focus on the Fab Labs and Makerspace topic, and also we analyze this kind of documents separately to look at what kind of specific system skills and competencies that they mention in these articles. And also we analyze the articles that have specific focus on diverse system professions, careers. So again, we aim to look at the specific skills that are important in practicing STEM careers. And also we specifically focus on the K-12 interventions and what kind of skills and competences embedded in this kind of intervention and application. So we analyze this document separately. And finally, based on the literature, again, we wonder what kind of specific system skills also important for employability. That's why we look at some system specific reports like UNESCO, WEF, to look at these skills again, not only important for developing a system identity, but also important for employability. So we analyze this document separately. After all, finally, we combined all results and again conducted a thematic analysis on this combined collective result to see overall system skills and competencies. And then we would like to talk about the initial results.
Okay, so we got a few minutes left here, so let's kind of walk through. So we have 5 buckets of analysis. And these are based on the kinds of articles that were being reviewed. So the first on the STEM career identity. Fab Lab and Makerspace has to do with these creative open spaces where youth are allowed to go in and create, maybe even create some entrepreneurial kinds of activities, but it's really focused on the creativity and allowing youth to really guide their experience. We certainly have some on the diverse STEM professions, K-12 practices, as you just heard, and then the STEM employability. So we're going to go through and just kind of look at the nuances between what some of the skills and competencies are from these different perspectives. So in this first case, then we're talking about just the kind of the STEM identity and development. And in there, you're seeing pretty much a pretty solid set. You've got problem solving, critical thinking, in addition to technical skills. You've got durable skills listed, the adaptability and lifelong learning and other competencies. So nothing surprising. I mean, I think it's a pretty good core set that I think we would all agree. But again, we're moving out of just the technical and academic math and science skills to also bring in some of these other social, emotional, and what we call durable skills as well. And it's showing up in this process. So some of the very specific, examples of what each of these are being shown here. So under durable skills, you're seeing communication, interpersonal skills, teamwork, collaboration, a lot of things that are pretty core to social and emotional learning development. And then you have the different technical skills and problem solving and such. And then another list of other competencies, which can also be helpful. In the second one, we're focusing on studies that are looking at these very creative open spaces where we're letting youth really guide their experience, and they're creating, and they're using 3D printers, and they're just in an active creative place. And so it's not surprising that creativity and innovation now gets added to the list of skills. More emphasis on communication and collaboration, and we're also seeing lifelong learning, so that we're basically it's creating that inquisitive learner who wants to continue learning, and hopefully they're going to come out of that wanting to always continue moving up in terms of their skills and also their opportunities as a result. So some of the ideas around that. In the third study, we're looking now at kind of the specific areas of STEM. So some of these very specialized areas that we're looking at, and you're starting to see an interesting emergence of ethics and social responsibility, focusing on passion and dedication. So the idea that I'm entering, say, agri-food or nanotechnology because there's something exciting that I see as relevant to addressing some important issues in our society or in our planet. And so the passion and dedication, and then also lifelong learning is also added into this one as well. So another interesting set there. The fourth group, and then just to give you a sense of what those are looking like. So in the ethics, understanding the impact of our work in STEM, and then with lifelong learning, similar, and then passion and dedication, right? So finding that sense of purpose. Number 4, we added self-efficacy and knowledge application. These are the K-12 STEM interventions that are going on. And so self-efficacy has always played a big role in in the United States, at least, in a lot of the K-12 STEM education, because we're using self-efficacy to measure their STEM, their confidence in these STEM activities that they're trying to learn about. And there's a couple of pieces on there, and we're running out of time, so I'm just going to hit this last one, which is around employability skills. And again, what came up there, unique one, was the adaptability and lifelong learning came up as a big piece. So what we're finding, and I think, why don't you take the conclusion? We've got about half a minute here, Nurten, but why don't you summarize kind of what the key findings are?
Okay, thank you. We can interpret this result like that. For sure, technical skills really important. We can consider those skills as a core skills to develop STEM identity, and also for practicing this profession in the working life. But on the other hand, to work in harmony in the workplace, and for employability, durable skills and social emotional learning skills, especially for problem solving skills and communication skills, innovation, creativity, emerge as a critical skills, important social emotional learning skills. and for employability also leadership emerge as a critical skills. On the other hand, to keep pace with the advancement in the this technological era, lifelong learning is really important skills, because every day new technology is emerging, and STEM career professionals need to develop their knowledge and practices. From the perspective of K-12, it is really important to support efficacy feeling of students to develop STEM identity. And finally, ethics is really important, especially this is the ongoing discussion in this recent discussion. So again, developing a sense of ethic is really important for overall STEM professions.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for this opportunity. We appreciate being able to share a few minutes with you about the work we're doing, and hope you'll also start seeing kind of the value, and love to hear more about how you all might be engaged in working with skills as a primary way to help youth see themselves and their future in the world of work. And look forward to more conversation. Thank you.
Thank you.